Kia ora whānau, welcome along to what can only be described as a beautiful yet windy overcast day here at Norana Park, Mangere, South Auckland. My name is Mark Peard. Joining me in the commentary will be Brendan McGurk for semi-final number 2 at the Flag Football Nationals. This, of course, is the flag football version of American football. We're at the business end of the season, semi-final number 2 between the Hawke's Bay Heat taking on the Nelson Honey Badgers. Now, both these teams have been there, done that before. Both these teams have won a national championship. And one of these teams, well, one of them was a beaten finalist last year. That, of course, being the Hawke's Bay Heat. Two teams that have travelled a long distance to get up to Auckland here in Mangere and are looking to try and make sure that that long trip is well worth the time. These teams both played off in the semi-final last year at the Nationals as well, and it ended in a draw, and the Hawke's Bay Heat got through just on points differential. So they will not be wanting to leave it to the referees or any type of countback system to get themselves through into the finals this year. Very interesting tale of the tape for both sides. Both sides come into this after a long day yesterday, a few niggles, a few injuries, but both teams, as I say, looking to make sure they leave it all out there on the field and make it through to the 2021 Flag Football Nationals. Great day out here in South Auckland, as mentioned. A little bit of a crosswind coming through, a bit of a headwind for the team playing from right to left, but it's still great conditions for flag football. We do, of course, look forward to semi-final number 1, which we're playing them back and forth, but semi-final number 1 coming up after this. This one here is what we concentrate on first, and we'll be back shortly once we get these ads out of the way.
Of the New Zealand American Football Federation. We've got the chairman, Andrew Fraser, who's alongside me, and it's a very important announcement. And Andrew, the TAB, is this where most of your income comes from?
Yeah, that's right. TAB are very significant contributors to us here at Nzaff, and for that we're very grateful.
How does it work?
So look, actually a little bit of every bet in American football globally comes back to support New Zealand American football and support and grow the game nationally. And the majority of that is through betting in the NFL.
Well, I'd imagine that you're not going to be too happy with the next question, because I'm a big San Francisco 49ers fan. If I bet on the 49ers, what impact does that have on you here in New Zealand?
Oh, mate, we're very appreciative of punters like you, and for my beloved Carolina Panthers as well. Look, the fact of the matter is, American football is actually quite an expensive sport with the helmets and other kind of safety equipment. So we really appreciate the impact of funding from TAB for that. As an example, earlier this year we bought about $40,000 worth of helmets and other safety equipment to give to our clubs across the country, and you'll see that today on youth teams, in our women's game and also the men's game today as well.
Let's expand the conversation, because thanks to the TAB, but this is a game that's growing right throughout New Zealand, not just here in Auckland. Tell me more.
Yeah, that's right. So we've seen a lot of growth in American football in New Zealand over the past few years, both in Auckland, which is still our main area for that, but we've got leagues going in Wellington and Christchurch, and we've also got clubs in Turangi, in Nelson, the Nelson Bay Honey Badgers actually, and then also in Hawke's Bay as well. So we're really seeing growth of the game nationally.
It's a terrific sport. You've got to get in behind it. Andrew, your final.
All right, guys. Semi-final game. Home team, away team. Heads, tails, call it in the air. Yep.
Tails.
Tails it is.
We'll take the ball in the second half.
Take the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
And then which side of the field would you like to
Start where we are.
Start
right
where
this
we
way.
are. Go this way.
Sure.
All right.
So we're defending the centre.
That's right.
Good luck, bro. Let's go, mate.
Let's have a good game.
Thanks, Rich.
Cheers, guys.
Good luck, fellas.
Well, there you see it. There we have it. It is about to get underway. Semi-final number 2, as is listed, between the Hawke's Bay Heat and the Nelson Honey Badgers. Jordan Cox, manager, team coach, quarterback, deferred, said they will take the ball in the second half, which is very, very interesting starting there. So they will start out on defence. Both these teams well established in flag football here in New Zealand. Both will be favourites to take out the championship as well, other than, of course, semi-finalists number 1, the Tamaki Lightning, who ended up on top of their division. So an exciting time. And joining me in commentary after being out there on the field, Brendan, mate, the wind is certainly blowing a gave, but both teams were used to the conditions. They played through it all yesterday, and they managed to get their way through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, they did. A little interesting fact, though, is the wind isn't that bad down on the field. I think it's a lot worse up here.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. For those at home, we're sitting on the second story of a makeshift what would you call this, setup, and the wind is certainly not being held back from those trees. So you'll hear it at home. We get a faceful, a gustful, but we're enjoying it, and great action to get underway. The ball will be placed at the 5 as we see the first offensive outing for the Honey Badgers, and the man to keep an eye on is the guy who looks like he's just come off stage from a rock concert, number 10, Bateman, and of course Jono Entwistle, who is the quarterback, and he takes the first snap. It's a quick out route, and there we have it. First play.
Nice methodical pass, get that first down, get that rhythm going. That's how they play. Talking to Johnny this morning, and he describes his offense as methodic and rhythmic. Once they get that rhythm going, it will not be able to be stopped.
Wow, I thought I was going over the top with my rock star version. I like that, methodic. Well, that is very methodical as they march their way forwards, clearing themselves out of the end zone. Entwistle again. Oh!
Nearly picked off by number 27, Jabowski.
Goodness, great defense there from the Heat. I'll tell you what, action already. You've had one complete pass, which looked very easy, and then one that just went through the hands of the defender. So you've had it all in 2 passes. Of course, both teams very, very well suited with great quarterbacks, good leadership, bunched formation around the centre. We'll see what happens here on the third play. And it's Mitchell who gets themselves a few more yards. Big Malcolm Mitchell, good clean set of hands. And 4th down, and around about 7 metres to go to get that all needed first down. Of course, you get to halfway, you get another 4 downs to try and get it in the end zone. So Jono will know that, as well as receivers. And what are we thinking here? Just enough?
I reckon he'll probably pass it just short, give them an extra chance. No, deep.
Gone deep, and what a play. And he's put it down. Unbelievable. Malcolm Mitchell, after a clean set of hands before. That wind, I'd like to say, was the defender that knocked him over, because he'd found himself with a bit of space and didn't quite go the way he wanted. Didn't set in those hands like he wanted it to. Bobbled out, and that'll be a turnover on downs. And a great look there. Great defensive stand there from the team out of the Hawke's Bay. And they get their first offensive play underway, and it's Cox to Cox. The brothers in arms. Jordan Cox, of course, captain, and captain everything really, isn't he? Captain, manager, offensive coordinator for the Marcos, does everything. Absolutely everything, and passed it off there to Joel Cox, his younger brother, or older. I've never been told who's older, who's younger.
I don't know, I've never asked.
You've never asked either? We'll assume it's Jordan, because he makes all the calls, as older brothers do. So one play, and a good start there.
Nice pass to Adam Blake. So he is, last year when the Hawk Heat got second place in the final, Adam Blake really willed the team.
Yes.
And made a lot of acrobatic catches, and I presume actually he's going to pass a lot to him. He's his Randy Moss to his Tom Brady.
There you go. Not overshooting it at all.
No.
And they are literally inches away from the first down, and it's a little trick play. Joel to Jordan Cox. Jordan Cox by
this allows Jordan to run. Taken down by the youngest member on the team, Zach.
Honey Badgers showing that they've got a lot on defense as well. Of course, the treat here being that we are seeing 2 out of town squads going at it, and 2 very, very good out of town squads. Nelson, the Honey Badgers, always coming in as crowd favourites. It's good to see them, and with someone like Jono behind the helm driving the wheel, they've always got a good chance.
Yeah, both these winners have won the tournament. So
former winners, and back at it. Here we go. Jordan Cox looking to buy himself some time. It's a big gun of it, and there he is. He's looking for his Adam Blake reception, and it was a good defensive play, getting his mitt in the way. And the referees, umpires, talking it through. This will be 4th down, and they will need a big play here, as they got forced back on that sack. Jordan looks so calm and collected behind centre though.
Yeah.
There we go, another play. He is able to run, which is a good thing, should they need to, and he's fired it long. Once again, Adam Blake was his intended receiver, and communication broke down, didn't make his cut. Confused now, is this 4th down?
This is 4th down.
That's my fault. One of those umpires have got crooked fingers. I'll be talking to him after the break about that. He could use his other hand. Here we go. A big moment. See the defenders are well back. They're expecting a big pass, and here it comes. Blake streaking up the left-hand side. He's going to Blake. It's in the centres though. They're going to be a jump ball. Oh!
Incomplete.
Great work by the defence there. Honey Badgers knew it was going to go long. They dropped their defence back. And no luck for the Heat. Score remains 0-0 midway through the first half. And we get to see the Honey Badgers back out on offense with a strong wind at their back. Tell us a bit about their quarterback, Jono Entwistle, Brendan.
So Jono's a bit of a, I like to refer to him as the godfather of football, or flag football in New Zealand. He's been around the country. He's played Wellington, played Nelson, played Christchurch, and he's recently made the move to Auckland. Wealth of knowledge, part of the Marco squad that went over to the Bahamas in 2016. Yeah, he's just a really solid guy, and what you'll see with his offense is being methodic, is he'll be throwing the ball well before the players have even turned around to look at the ball, expecting it to get there, and yeah, it's timing.
So his timing's impeccable.
Yeah.
And if you're playing with him and you're a receiver, you know as soon as you turn your head, the ball will be there. Here we go, the first chance we get to see the little slot receiver, Mitch Bateman. And Mitch, last year, I just remembered, for those who are big fans of the American football, the NFL, he's that typical smaller slant receiver, just niggly, annoying. You lose track of him and all of a sudden he's up the field. But if he's going over the middle, he's all go. Another great pass straight through the middle again.
Flagpole by Blake.
And Entwistle moving the Honey Badgers up the field, and they will reset their downs and be looking to try and score on this play. As mentioned earlier in the broadcast, both these teams played in the semi-finals last year. Both these teams couldn't be split at full time because there was no time allowing them to play extra time. They had to go through on points difference, and it was the Heat that won through there. And I had a quick word with Entwistle as he's got plenty of time back there, and carves off another 7 yards. And Entwistle had a look in his eye, like he said, you know what? Like a prize fighter who allowed the referees to decide a winner, it wasn't going to happen again this year. They're either going to win or lose, but they're certainly not leaving it out on the field. But so far, we're still in a deadlock. They march up again. Keep an eye on that number 10, Mitch Bateman. Little out route, give himself some space. Entwistle dancing about, finds his receiver, who does a quick twirl and gets very, very close to the end zone. He'll be less than half a metre out. maybe right on half a metre. Great play, buying himself some time.
You can see he was getting a little bit frustrated. Nothing was getting open.
Nothing was open, so he danced around a bit. And I'll tell you who was more frustrated, and that's the defender who's rushing. Just can't quite get one of those flags. Of course, as soon as that flag gets torn off the side, then if the play is dead, it's ended, and they'll be resetting. But here we go. End whistle, 5 yards out, and there he is. First touchdown of the semi-final is in the bag, and it is, of course, to that hitman, Mitch Bateman. Great throw and pass. Bateman
only caught it where only he could catch it, away from the defender.
Away from the defender, just looks like he's got so much time as the whistle, and that's the difference, isn't it? When you get these players at this level who just buy themselves some time and then they see an opening and they zing it in there, everyone's like, man, that looked easy. It's not.
No, it's hours and hours and hours of just training to get it right.
So they go for the 1 point. This is the conversion. Oh, wow.
Snatched it from their hands.
Throwing ball, and Bateman again only going where he can go. So small, yet so efficient. That footwork, he just toodles in, does his quick out, and whistle finds him right in the corner. So it's a great start for the Honey Badgers. They take the lead and get the extras, making it 7-0 to the Badgers, and we're back. The Heat. Communication breakdown there. Jordan Cox threw it a bit early. He won't think he threw it early. He'll think the receiver turned a bit late.
Unfortunately, it's always the quarterback's fault.
Yes.
It's always the quarterback's fault. Receiver drops the pass, quarterback should have thrown it better.
So, Heat stacking 3 receivers out to the right. Cox still has that sort of nonchalant, not really caring look about him on his face. Super casual, but you know he cares, and he'll toodle up the sideline. It was a great little play there. He'll carve off half the distance needed to reset the downs.
Yeah, Jordan Cox reminds me a lot of Josh Allen, unfortunately. He's got a big arm, he'll gunsling it, and he'll just run it if he has to.
Great season too for Josh Allen and the Bills this year.
Oh, they were good, weren't they?
Very, very good. Especially if you owned him in fantasy. If you didn't, you jumped quickly into the free agency or try and trade for the person who did get him. Cox, great pass.
Great catch by Hinton.
Wonderful, wonderful football. And they will reset the downs over halfway. Jordan with a slight smile on his face. And the Heat down 7 at the moment, but marching their way out the field, and the wind seems to have dropped just ever so slightly.
Touch wood.
No wood available. It's all steel up here, good sir. And split receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Blake, his favourite target, is out on the left. And a bit of laundry out there on the field.
Looks like we got a false start.
I think they might be calling it on Blake too. Blake holds his hand out like, what are you talking about, good sir? I had nothing to do with this. So they will march that back.
So 5-yard penalty, replay it down.
Of course, here in flag football, we don't have the fancy chains and we still have the umpires all wearing the black and whites, and they love to throw a flag, but that was a false start, meaning that Blake had left the line early before the ball had been snapped and gave himself an unfair advantage. So Cox fires it back to Blake. Blake will march up.
Makes up for that loss.
They're back over halfway, the Heat, down 7-0 over the Honey Badgers. And what are we at, the second down?
Second down, yeah.
Second down, so are we looking to make amends? Blake is lightning quick, isn't he? He's got a good set of hands too.
You'll watch him, and I like to call it gliding, where he stays the same speed, but his feet just slow down.
Just goes Jordan Cox with a run up the sideline. Great play. Now the quarterback is able to run, of course, because the younger brother Joel, and we're saying younger, we don't know, have not confirmed. Probably be some family feuds if we have got this wrong. But Joel flicked it back to Jordan. That allows Jordan to be able to run with the ball, and you can see he's got twinkle toes.
Twinkle toes.
Plenty of gas, and flicked himself around the corner. And now, basically halfway between halfway now and the end zone, looking for a touchdown. This, you have to remind me, Brendan, because I didn't do well at maths, but this must be third.
I'm looking at the ref, I think it is.
Third down. Cox. There we go. Blake, great set of hands. Had to catch it behind him. He did very, very well to catch that ball to begin with and then to spin into the contact and hold it. And the defenders just did enough. They'll hold him out. It looks to be around about a metre out.
Metre out.
And fourth down. So great play from Blake. Wonderful set of hands, good throw, straight into the contact. He turned, he held onto it, he edged forward, gave himself a good chance of getting in the end zone, but had his tag ripped away just a metre out. And here we go, the heat. Putting the heat on, here we go. Jordan Cox, quick dummy, and no. Great set of hands.
Just caught outside.
You want to give it to him. You want to give it to him so he makes the ESPN top 10 plays, but you can't.
You can have one style point.
We'll give you one for style point. 7-1 now. No, we can't be handing out style points, but a great play. He looked like he was hitting right into the corner of the end zone, gave a head fake and then floated back. And Cox just threw it a bit low for him. And end whistle now, being caught up in the end zone. And they're calling a safety. Great defensive play. The Heat still put points on the board. They do it a little differently to what they had planned in the first place. End whistle's looking confused. And he held it for too long there, Brennan.
Yeah, this is a very reminiscent game of the Heat's, games yesterday. Is they were all firing on offense for 2 games, and in the third game, they just couldn't get anything working on offense, but the defense really bailed them out. And it's starting to look like that's going to be the case in this game. Not disrespecting the offense, but it's just struggling to just get those connections going.
Sometimes that's the case. It's all going at one moment, and then you turn up to the next game and nothing's working. So you've got to rely on something, and to have a defense that can do what they've just done there. And our scorers are a little laxed, if I'm being honest. I think they're both they're trying to decide whether they're giving 2 points for the safety or any points for the safety at all. What is the ruling and flag?
I believe it's 2 points for a safety.
And finally, the Brains Trust has decided it's 2, and they've slapped a 2 up there. So 7 points to 2, the Nelson Honey Badgers, and the Heat get possession again. And look at this. They're all going deep. And he's going to make it all the way up there. Great run. Jordan Cox. He saw the defense had slagged back. And
that's the end of the half.
End of the half. It was a 1 play, 1 go. And he thought, you know what, kids? I'm going to go and give this a stab. Made it all the way up the field. It looks good on his stat sheet.
Oh, yeah.
It looks wonderful on the stat sheet.
40 yards rushing.
A brilliant half of football. And I don't think the Hawke's Bay Heat will be a bit too worried about that, because, yes, like you say, they're struggling a little bit on offense, but they managed to get points on the board thanks to their defense. I think John Entwistle from the Honey Badgers is still sitting there scratching his head going, I'm pretty sure I'd passed that ball away in time, but didn't. And so that we finish up the first half of semi-final number 2 between the Nelson Honey Badgers and the Hawke's Bay Heat. And it's the Nelson Honey Badgers up 7 points to 2 over the Heat. We'll be back shortly with the second half action. And this is what Jordan made this call, didn't he? He wanted this during the coin toss. They wanted the ball second to begin with. And Joel Cox, good spin, keeps going, and
almost makes it halfway.
It wasn't a comfortable flag grab. That with the wind blowing
gingerly.
Yep, the wind blowing and flags hanging around the waist. Sometimes the flag pull can be dangerous.
Might get pulled.
Yeah, can be dangerous, and you can see there Joel Cox grimacing. Wasn't comfortable, and he's still a bit walking gingerly, but we'll see. Great play to begin with for the Hawke's Bay Heat. as they look to try and come back down 7-2. And Joel gets the arm going. It's up high. Oh, bit of contact there.
Both making a play for the ball. No flags.
You love to say that. I feel like you are team referee here, or team umpire, Brendan McGurk. See, I like to say...
See, I'm a defender.
I say...
I was always making a play for the ball.
My time I spent as a wide receiver, I was always saying, come on. How is that? What? We should not be touched at all. All right, another attempt. They've stacked 2 out to the left. Blake nice and close to the centre. And it's a quick ball out to Blake. They'll get the first down and a little more. You're seeing the Hawke's Bay Heat bench and youth team out underneath our commentary box at the moment. And the smell of liniment is strong. Players, of course, day number 2 of the tournament, Flag Football Nationals, and everyone's hurting. As we see the Heat line up, stack 3 out to the right. Cox, the younger of the Cox, takes the offload, hands it on.
To main man Murray Orr.
Murray Orr, we've seen his reception for the first time. The big centre. It's a good play, isn't it? When you got the big fella who's handing the ball back to his quarterback and then finds himself a bit of space and just plants himself. Very handy play if you've got a good one like Orr. It's a double Cox again. Joel chance to run. And he's pointing at the refs. And a bit indecision now. Jordan's not happy.
Not happy at all.
As all good quarterbacks should not be happy if they feel like they've run themselves into the end zone. And looking at the official, who looks about 10 times the size of Jordan, so maybe maybe not push it too far. And they'll set up less than half a metre from the end zone, and Orr gets himself some space. Oh,
Orr was doing that box out we talked about.
Yep. Joel Cox cutting in over the middle. Jordan couldn't find him there, and you could see Jordan was pointing at the official again, saying he was being held back. Didn't get the call. So they'll set up again. This must be close to 4th. What are we running here, Brennan?
I'll just go quick outs.
Quick outs?
Just quick outs.
Quick ins. Oh, there we
Quick
go.
out.
Oh,
Adam
wow.
Blake.
Adam Blake. That was a well-run route. Well done to the Heat. Looked like he was cutting in over the middle. Planted his foot and headed out. Gave himself that space away from the defender. So the Heat marched their way with the wind at their back all the way down the field and have scored a touchdown. Now discussing a chance for one more. And this would give them a 3-point lead. Apologies, a 2-point lead, actually. Of course. Oh, it's a well-thrown ball.
Just a bullet.
Wow. And back to that man, Adam Blake, who is such a dangerous receiver. And that ball was straight flung over the middle. And Adam Blake, clean set of hands. And the Heat will be very, very happy with that. Go up 9 points to 7 in semi-final. Number 2 over the Nelson Honey Badgers. Let's see what the Honey Badgers can do against the Into the Wind. Their first play of the second half. It's a quick offload. I feel like Jono is feeling the same kind of wind we're feeling right now. He's going, you know what? Let's keep the gun. Let's keep this cannon.
Let's get this cannon just holstered.
Just holster the cannon for now. Let's get ourselves in up the field slowly but surely, and if we need to rip it out, we will. Of course, both these teams, if you hadn't heard earlier, drew in semi-final number 1 last year, and there was no time for any extra time, so they ended up going on points difference, and the Heat taking the points difference. Another good ball there from Edwhistle, and great run all the way up the field. The flag wasn't taken, and what a touchdown!
Oh, strong man Ben McManus all the way down.
Unbelievable, considering we said we would put the cannon away. It wasn't a cannon, it was a quick over the middle, and a clean set of heels. kept his hips clear, kept the flags away from the defender, and shot down the left-hand side, and a touchdown just like that. Not long for the Hawke's Bay Heat to hold on to that lead as Jono marches the boys down and the Honey Badgers score straight away. And here we go, looking to take the 1 point. End whistle again, great out route, and man, the size of the lad.
He's actually a strongman lifter.
Yeah. Ben McManus, and absolute ox, just gave himself that clear bit of space by the defender. Uses as what we like to call and politely call the base, aka the bum, just to jab it into the defender and give himself that space as he launches forward and gives himself that little bit of area, and Entwistle hit it perfectly. So, just like that, Nelson Honey Badgers up 14 points to 9, and Hawke's Bay Heat back on offense. Exciting semi-final number 2 in what felt like a bit of a dreary first half. It's been all go in the second half as Jordan Cox gives it off to Joel Cox and buys himself a bit of space out of the end zone. There won't be a safety on this next play, that's for sure. What are the Honey Badgers doing on D here? Brendan McGurk, of course, you played the game, you know what's happening. Is it a man, is it a zone, what's happening?
It's looking like they're playing man right now, but they're not motioning, so they're swapping players.
It's a bit of man zone. Oh, it's a good wee run there from the captain, manager, coach, sponsor, everything, Jordan Cox, QB. A good run. And you can see him smiling. He knows he did very, very well to get that happening. Now, what's the ruling with the flags there, Brendan? Are you allowed to have do the flags have to sit on the hips, and do they have to be to the left and the right of the hips, or
yeah,
can they be
so
front and back?
On your hips, on the side. We don't want them front and back because we had that issue with the younger Cox brother before.
Yes.
And as long as the shirt's tucked in and they're not impeded.
Joel going long, great ball, Bateman, what a pull.
What a play.
And they're giving the touchdown. Wow.
Adam Blake just robbed it from the sky.
Great move. It was actually quite well defended. And Blake.
Double coverage.
Blake just put his foot in the soil and launched for it and brought it in. More spectacular catches from Blake. We were treated to them last year in the semi, and we're being treated to them again. And man, what a ball thrown by Jordan Cox. That was absolute fire, and what they're all about at the Heat, wasn't it? They stepped up, they knew they needed something. And
they're taking risks now.
Yeah, and so they should. They know they don't want what happened last year to be, they don't want it to come down to points differential. They want to win it outright. And
deflected.
Great defense there from the Honey Badgers. Number 14, Bannock Hall,
who had the pass called over him just before, so he made up for it.
Made up for it. Still talking happening there too between Bateman and Hall. That is a torching. Great throw, great catch. And so right now the Heat hang on to a slender 1 point lead over the Honey Badgers. And it'll be the Honey Badgers back out on offense. Just a reminder, they're playing slightly into the wind, the Honey Badgers, which does make the pass plays a bit more difficult. But Entwistle knows that and has been doing what he needs to do to get them up the field. Gordon, great catch, Shane Gordon. As they slowly march their way up, second down, halfway between the end zone and halfway. Of course, once they get to halfway, reset of the downs, they'll get 4 more to try and get into the end zone. They all look so relaxed, don't they? Both teams.
They've been here before.
Yeah. And we're still threading the needle again. And the big fella. The big fella, he's just, I mean, Ben is just, you can see, look at the size of his tree trunk legs. And when he spins those, trying to get the flag, when you've got tree trunks in the way.
It's trying to stop a washing machine, isn't it?
I've always said that. Of course, McManus nicknamed the washing machine. He's not. He's not. Don't call him that. Bunch formation all around the centre, and they spread out like a flowering. Oh, good move there from the big fella. dancing.
Malcolm Mitchell moving those hips.
And it's just subtle movements like that. I know when fatigue starts setting in and you're the defender and you're just looking, just stop. All right, I need to grab that flag. All of a sudden when there's a little hip movement, a little rotation, it's niggly, it's frustrating, and the big fella swinging them around is not helpful for the defenders. Of course, bunched again. Mitchell being an attacking threat as well is niggly for the defenders. And there he goes again, just marching up the field.
Methodically.
This is what Entwistle said to you before the game even began, didn't he, Brennan?
Yep, get a rhythm, just beat the drum down the field. And now with I think the halves should be coming to an end soon, so they want to control the clock now. So watch them take a little bit longer when they're snapping the ball.
Yep, the clock counting down. Entwistle buy himself some time. It goes up high. Oh! I tell you what, Mitchell almost made a hero play there because the ball was A, overthrown, B, was tipped, and C, almost ended up in his hands. One of the more difficult of catches to make, especially when you think you know where the ball's headed and all of a sudden it's tipped up in the air and
turns into, I don't want the other team to hit it, so you knock it away.
Yeah, it's all over the place. You can see it on the replay. Mitchell almost made that wonderful grab. Whistle again, buying himself some time. Great little wee fake, and there it is, Bateman. Man, that is dangerous. Mitch Bateman again. And Whistle, I tell you what, too, he's just the way he swiveled his hips, the dummy, the push through. He knew Bateman would buy himself some space, got himself some time, got out to the left in the end zone, and just planted himself.
Exactly. He was able to evade probably the top pass rusher in this tournament, which is actually quite difficult to do because he's actually very, very good.
Well, he would be, Brennan, being the top.
Yeah.
He would be both good and very, very good, but happens to, Entwistle, he's got a clean set of heels. He knows where they're coming from. And they're looking like they're going to go for two and try and get that advantage back. Of course, down by one at the moment. The touchdown and picked off.
Packed.
So, Nelson Honey Badgers controlled the half and the clock there for a bit. Running clock down to 1:42, and Honey Badgers up 20 points to 15. So 20-15, Honey Badgers. And the Heat looking to buy some time there. Jordan to Joel, great set of hands, great pass. When he makes it all the way to halfway with that clock ticking down. It is all go. 1 minute to go. And the Heat marching up the field. Oh, just thrown a little low.
Incomplete to the younger Orr.
And Jordan Cox knows what's on the line here as the clock counts down. And what a mouthful.
They still have one timeout left, which they could use.
Right. As we reach 30 seconds, right on halfway. Joel back to Jordan. He can run if he needs. Buys the time. Big Orr. The Big Orr. Well done. Timeout called
by the Heat.
20 seconds to go on the clock. Down by 5. Semi-final number 2 in the men's flag football national championship. Just under 20 seconds to go on the clock. And the Hawke's Bay Heat marching down the field. They need a touchdown to win it. And the Honey Badgers will be doing everything they can to stop that from happening. See both teams at the moment. You can see on screen the Honey Badgers discussing what they're doing on defense. And the Hawke's Bay Heat have stacked 3 receivers out to the right. Jordan Cox waiting in the pocket. Joel Cox gets it, flicks it back. He's alive and running. Here he goes. Here he goes. Tries to slip through the most slender of gaps. The clock's running. They'll need to keep going.
Honey Badgers throwing the flags on the field, slow them down.
Yep. That's the sportsmanship we're after. Here we go. Jordan Cox gets the ball back. He'll have to pass it. He does indeed, and Blake takes it in. There we have it. It's a touchdown. And the Heat do just enough
To tie it.
to tie it. It'll all come down to one play. Wow. What a weapon Blake has been this whole game, from diving catches to making himself available in the end zone in the tightest of margins. And what a throw. Jordan Cox, he's limped off to the sideline, which is not ideal, but he did something to his knee then. And it'll all come down. He's looking at the clock now, and the scorers, they're all walking around. 5 points for the touchdown.
Oh, no, 6
Oh,
for the
yeah,
touchdown.
6, no, so they've taken the lead. It won't matter. It will not matter. They won't make the play. They've taken the knee, and the game is over. The last play of the game. Brendan, you sold me down the street. I thought myself there. I was like, no, this is all over. It is all over. What a play, and man, you can see the emotion on the Honey Badgers' faces. They are not happy. They would have come into this thinking they had a real chance. But it'll be interesting to see now how Jordan Cox, the quarterback, the manager, the coach, the everything for the Hawke's Bay Heat comes out of this, because he did limp to the sideline with a knee injury. And we have a finalist number 1, though, in the slot. And it's a repeat of last year's final. Well, so far, so good, with the Hawke's Bay Heat getting up. And Brendan, what did you see in all of that made you go, yes, that's the team to be watching in the finals?
Well, I think it's just how they came into the second half. Like, the first half, it was a bit slow, it was a bit lethargic. Nothing was kind of connecting. And then, like, even the same with the Honey Badgers, is they just thought, right, we just need to do it. Let's just take shots downfield. Let's read the field from the outside in. If they're playing in, we'll shoot it out. If they're playing out, we'll shoot it in. Both teams started doing that. It was really impressive. And then within that 5 minutes, it was just gunslinging.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, well said, well spoken. So you see both teams going out there now and joining in the huddle. Wonderfully played semi-final number 2, and 2 really, really good teams who like each other, and they'd been here, done that before. Now, last year, of course, in the Nationals, it came down to a draw. So I'm very, very happy that we can say that it was not a draw this year. A 1-point win there for the Hawke's Bay Heat, and man, what a finish! Way to zing it in there. And we've got, of course, going to go head down shortly and get an interview with what looks to be Jordan Cox, the captain and quarterback, and what a win. And it was a special moment to see both veteran quarterbacks hugging and embracing. They know what this means to each other and what it means to the game of flag football here in New Zealand. So to see that happen, a great moment as both Entwistle and Cox hugged and embraced, and yeah, it was nice to see. So let's catch up with one of those quarterbacks, though, and of course it is the triumphant one. Brendan's made his way down to the sideline with Jordan Cox from the Heat, and over to you, Brendan.
Thanks, Marks. I'm here with quarterback Jordan Cox for the Hawke's Bay Heat. Give us a bit of a rundown on how the first half changed from the second half, because we noticed it was quite lethargic, a little bit slower in that first half, but you came out guns blazing in the second half. What was the mindset there?
Yeah, I mean, going into this wind, which is actually, it's pretty intense at the moment and it's swirling quite a lot, made it a bit of a challenge going into that wind in the first half. We weren't sending it deep as often, we were trying to go short, and we just had a couple of like niggly little penalties. I took a sack, which I shouldn't have taken. You know, we're just getting over the halfway and then getting pulled back, and we just couldn't get all the way to the end zone, and it was frustrating. Fortunately, our defense came up big. That safety, you know, take a possession, give us 2 points, a bit of momentum, and then we had the wind to our backs in the second half, and you know, rest is history.
Sounds good. Now, it looks like you hurt your knee at that last play of the game. How do you think that'll affect you in the final, seeing as a lot of your game is based on that running option that you do?
No, it's fine. I mean, it was just our legs got a little bit tangled up over here while I was rolling right. You know, it was an inconsequential play on that last one, so I just figured I'd come off, I'd keep it, but you know, I'm walking around on it fine. It'll be no worries.
So we'll see 100 yards rushing, will we?
Yeah, 150.
Hey, good luck for the finals, mate.
Awesome. Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate it.
All right, well, you heard it there. The knee won't be a problem, hopefully, for him in the finals. That being the captain the manager, the absolutely everything for the Hawke's Bay Heat, and the man who flinged that final pass over to Adam Blake, who had an outstanding game. He would be my MVP out of that game. Jordan Cox, of course, doing the Lord's work there at quarterback. So, semi-final number 2 is in the books. And that saw the Hawke's Bay Heat come out winners over the Nelson Honey Badgers 21 points to 20. We'll be back shortly. Well, I was thinking to myself we'll be back shortly, but no, we're going to throw back down onto the field. And it looks like Brendan's made his way over to the quarterback from the Honey Badgers, that being Mr. Jono Entwistle. Over to you, Brendan.
Thanks, Mark. I'm here with Jono. Unfortunately, not the game that you would like, but it was close right down to the very end, coming down to probably the last 10 seconds. What changed from the first half to second half for you?
Look, I don't think anything changed. It was back and forth the whole game. It ended up like a good semi-final should. The last person to touch the ball wins, and that's what came down to. The time expired as they scored, so we did everything. We got ahead with 5 minutes to go. We drove the field, took the lead. They had a minute, and they worked it.
Sounds good. So what's the future holding for you, Jono?
Look, there's no decision on who I'm playing for next year, but right now I'm a Honey Badger.
Hopefully the MTF Finance Honey Badgers do well next season.
They sure will.
Hey, thank you very much. Back to you, Mark.
All right, there you heard it now. Breaking all the stories, aren't we? Jono Entwistle not confirming who he'll play for next season, but obviously an absolute ace card to whoever he is with. And right now that is with the Honey Badgers, who were unfortunately knocked out by 1 point in what can only be described as a wonderful semi-final. We'll be back with semi-final number 1 shortly, that being the Tamaki Lightning taking on the Metro Lions.